friends, it's Granny Doll, or just Doll, here with Denali Guide. You're going to smile there, Nick.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. So we're waiting for the other or the second shoe to drop. There's a lot of mass confusion. So this morning, it's Monday morning, the 20th of April, 2026, if you're watching this later. Name one of the confusions that you're finding.
Well, one of my readers said, looks like it's a 420 morning, so don't take any yet. So now, I gotta talk about cognitive dissonance. We have all kinds of things happening. It's happening in energy, it's happening in food, slowly, and it's happening with gold, or not happening with gold, which is what creates a cognitive dissonance. On Friday, the Dow went up 1,000 points, right? Today, it's down 2 points. We figured energy would just go through the roof.
Oh, hold on. It's down 2 points from the 1,000?
Yeah.
Or down 2 points from where it was before it went up the 1,000?
Oh, when the 1,000's down to 998.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and everybody's sitting there and going like, wow, this all strange stuff happened, but nothing's happening. We have cognitive dissonance. Sorry, cognitive dissonance.
Dissonance, yeah.
Yeah, let me spit it out. And you have people sitting here with mass confusion. And who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Who's afraid of the big bad bear? Who's afraid of the big bad bull? Nobody knows. I would say one thing about the bull. The diplomacy seems to be that which comes out of the rear end of the bull, which is giving us this cognitive dissonance.
Right.
What I would say is hold your positions, have some dry powder. Opportunities will come about. I won't say that they abound now, because I too am waiting for the second shoe. Does it mean that the Dow is going to drop 1,000 points and gold's going to go up 1,000? Or is gold going to go down 1,000?
So I have a really quick question for you. Let me just zoom in here a little bit more for you. If I can, are we at the top end of gold?
Are we at the top end of gold? No, we're not at the top end of the U.S. government's financial irresponsibility. When we get there, we'll be at the top for gold. And I guarantee you, it'll be a minimum of 5 digits.
A minimum of 5 digits. What about silver? What's silver doing right now?
Well, silver is being an industrial metal. It's being sought majorly as a critical strategic metal. It's used constantly in weapons and wars, not to mention being used in AI and data centers. So there's a lot of pressure on silver to go up. Now, it got out of hand at 122. Let's look at silver. That 122, that's where the cops break down the door at your party. You're partying so hard. Let's look at two commercials that are important. Samsung and Tesla. And when they stop needing to stockpile silver for their products, there will be pressure off. But at that point, Romania, Saudi Arabia, Greece, you name it, all these countries that think they need silver for stockpile, including India, who's the biggest buyer, will then come back into the market and the pressure will go on up. And silver will move, not in lockstep with gold, but in directional correlation with gold. So silver, if you have some silver, great. If you can get some silver from somebody cheap who's going to give you pre-65 American coins or Canadian coins, more power to you.
Okay, so we've talked about gold, we've talked about silver. I know we have a very diverse portfolio here in the household between gold, and I also have a number of small stocks in Algoma, which is the shipping industry here on the Great Lakes. But you just purchased a food item. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, I thought this was a cute little stock. Its name is Bread. And they are in Vancouver, and they run a bunch of, what I would say, casual cafes. But the whole point of all of this is that wheat and corn are going to suffer from lack of fertilizer. Or they're going to suffer from higher prices of fertilizer. And you know what that means to you? Higher prices for your food. So I like copper. I like copper. I like oil. I like food. Maple leaf
Maple
food.
leaf, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that I like. Saputo made a lot of cheese. Took a real hit the other day when the founder retired, but that will make itself up because Saputo is got so many brands you can't even figure out who they are.
Yeah. So we're specifically looking at Canadian markets because we live in Canada, and looking at diversifying our stocks a little bit. But we don't want to be so over diversified that we can't see where we're going. Does that make sense, or is that part of the confusion?
Why is 13 the unlucky number? 13 is the unlucky number because the most you can manage at any given time is 12. So as a consequence, you want more than 12 stocks? I don't. I don't want more than 10 stocks. It's something you have to. If you're going to put your stocks in your socks and bury them, well, doesn't matter, does it? But if you're going to manage them, if you're going to wash your socks, you're going to put clean socks in the drawer, it's important that you have only 10 or less.
10 or less. Okay, so we opened up here. You were talking about waiting for the other or the second shoe to drop. Do you think that's going to happen soon?
So market development, I don't know. We're all sitting here going, oh, gee, why is our thumb in our ear? Well, we're waiting for a certain U.S. president. We're waiting for the folks in Iran. We're waiting for people to make decisions out there. And I think it's a power struggle. So it might be a month. It could be 2 months. I would say the bull material will hit the fan sometimes around June or July.
Okay, so that gives us a little bit of thinking time. What's frustrating for me, and maybe for some others who are watching or listening today, is that we're in a position where we have no control over those outside things like you were saying. We cannot control what goes on in the Middle East. We cannot control what's going on in the White House. We certainly can't control how energy is being moved around. I've got a cat behind me here. How do we deal with that in this uncertainty and waiting for the shoe to drop and nothing's making sense? But what's the but?
The but is you pick a couple things like a pantry. You keep your pantry stocked.
Yeah.
Do you have savings, and are your savings in paper currencies, or do you have savings in monetary metals? You need to look at these things. And then I would say a third of all of that is, do you have some reasonably priced stocks? Algoma is a good stock. This company has assets, it's well managed, and it's in a good position. It's a shipper on the Great Lakes. And the commerce on the Great Lakes is going to keep going. Even if we get into what I consider a depression, there are certain commodities on the Great Lakes that have to be shipped, and Algoma is there to ship them.
Yeah. Well, they're not the only ship on the Great Lakes, but they're the ones that caught my attention because I follow the ships. And just thinking about living that 100-mile path that you and I talk about, and we haven't talked much about here, but I will talk over on my YouTube channel, which is called DollCanCreate. So you can jump over there. We're going to talk about some of the 100-mile things. Algoma's head offices are within 100 miles of us here, but they're shipping things like ore,
Salt.
Oh, definitely salt. They were still shipping salt as long as they could get out of Goderich in the winter. Grain comes in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, just across the way from us here on Lake Ontario in Toronto is Redpath Sugar, and there's sugar's still going to ship as long as there's enough fuel to run the engines on these boats. Now, is that a concern?
No, because they run on bunker, real heavy oil, the kind you would get from Venezuela. It's almost asphalt. but I look at Algoma and I'm saying limestone and iron ore. So Algoma ships the muscles and the sinews of this society. It may go up, it may go down, but you picked them because you communicated with the pirate who was on a ship of theirs.
Yeah.
I picked them because I think their management's sharp.
Right.
So, we have to go with it. So we're going to be stuck in a lot of places. We cannot affect what the president says. No, but we can affect how many canned hams we have. If we have 50 pounds of flour, do I have some coins that were made by Canada in early 1965 and they're silver? It doesn't require a big investment. It requires a diversified investment, not over diversified.
Okay.
4 or 5 things. If you can manage them, you're going to be, I don't know if you'll be in chips or what kind of chips they'll be, but as a consequence, you'll be better off than had you not.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate your time today, and hopefully the plan is that we'll do another video next Monday, and it won't be so long between our videos, but the chaos that's happening in the world and the confusion that's happening in the world is affecting all of us. And if it hasn't, it will at some point. So I appreciate your clarity of thinking, if you will.
One last point. If you want good shoes and you're worried about dropping, go get Red Wings.
Go get Red Wings. And where are they produced? Minnesota. Okay, so they're not 100 mile to us, but they're good quality shoes. I'm going to have to look for Canadian-made shoes now, but thank you very much.
Yeah, the professor wears Red Wings. What can I say?
The professor,
the
yes.
The professor's a very discerning person.
Yeah, the professor he's referring to is called the Knitting Professor, and she's somebody I follow on YouTube regularly. So thanks again, Denali Guide Nick. This has been a wonderful chit chat today. I hope those of you who are watching, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Like, share, do all the YouTube things so that we can keep this channel alive. But for today, say goodbye, Nick.
Goodbye. Keep your shoes in twos.
Keep your shoes in twos. Keep the pairs together. Anyway, for now, till next time, bye for now.